So, dear all, thank you for joining us today at our first Central East Europe Rosewood 4.0 Hub Study Visit, organized by Slovenian Forestry Institute. And at the same time, I would also like to thank our host company, M SORA, who is hosting us today. The visit is organized within the Horizon 2020 Rosewood 4.0 project, which supports and promotes sustainable wood mobilization in Europe by pooling information and knowledge, enabling cooperation and innovation, and supporting new business opportunities. Rosewood 4.0 focuses on digitalization and digital tools, promoting ICT-driven solutions for forestry and enabling practitioners to share know-how with much wider impact. Application RecAPPture was developed in the frame of project development of an application for collection of waste wood, which was dedicated to the development of a mobile and web application that would connect users who want to get rid of waste wood, and M SORA, which uses the wood for the production of wooden windows. The application RecAPPture was chosen as one of the best practices in the field of digitalization and digital tools from Slovenia. So today we will have an opportunity to get more information regarding this application. And additionally, M SORA is one of Slovenian most innovative companies and is well recognized not only in Slovenia, but also worldwide. So it will be interesting to get also some insight in their organization, working processes, and their involvement in the digitalization related projects. Unfortunately, due to the COVID limitations and restrictions, we cannot organize the meeting in person for all the participants. However, I hope that you will all enjoy this visit. So for the introduction of the company and the digital tools, including RecAPPture application, I suggest to go on a virtual tour that the company prepared. So Barbara Šubic is a presenter of the M SORA company and will take us on this tour.
Hello, everyone. Just a question, do you hear me and see me also? Could you, this is Barbara Šubic speaking, could you tell me if you see and hear me well while I'm presenting?
Yes, Barbara, we can hear you and see the presentation.
Okay, good, thank you. So welcome all of you at our headquarters, or at one of our part of the company. I'm Barbara Šubic. I'm the head of research and development in M SORA carpentry department. And today I will present you what we do in the name of sustainability, circularity, and digitalization when producing wooden windows. Firstly, we are wooden window producers. We decided in 2006 to produce only wooden windows and wooden aluminium windows. So we said no to the PVC and aluminium windows. That was the decision at that time that really guides us also today. And most of our windows go into individual homes, so in private houses, in more modern or in more domestic or traditional projects. Our company, let's say, it's a little bit maybe differently organized than you're used to. We are a joint stock company, so that means that 80% of our employees are also the owner of the company, and 20% is in the ownership of the cooperative. Here on the slide, you can see the organization. So we are a whole company with 284 employees. In the carpentry department, approximately 105. And we are divided into 3 different parts. M SORA is the wholesale for all different parts for window production. M SORA Carpentry is the production of wooden windows, and we have some other M SORA markets. We have also different companies, daughter companies in different countries, mostly in Balkan region. Just one moment to move the slide. Most of our windows are produced from spruce. So 80% of our wood is spruce that comes from domestic forests. This doesn't really stand right now or this year, because just in this situation that the COVID has put on the market, there is really lack of spruce to get on the market. So actually, we are importing spruce right now from Austria, and also the prices for the spruce went up. Firstly 10%, now 20%, and it seems like it hasn't stopped yet. So the lack of spruce on the market is right now the worst that we have ever seen. We are having an export of, let's say, over 40%, but this will rise also this year. We have never been so full in our production than just this year, which is really also difficult to understand. We have been in the sustainability process for quite a while. We have always thought of how to use, let's say, fresh wood, and also how to use all the wood that we get back from installing new windows and getting back old ones, how to reuse the wood, the leftovers in our production, or how to use the wood from construction sites when you are rebuilding your homes, when you are tearing down old buildings or hay racks. So there's a lot of wood available also that had a previous functionality that could be reused, and that was in our mind how to do that in different ways. There has been a lot of projects so far that really helped us investigate different possibilities. We have made shelter homes for homeless cats, for example. We have made benches. There was an opening just yesterday in our local community of we have made 20 different benches from recovered wood, and there is a swim park in our local region that was equipped with recovered wood equipment. We are trying to discover what everything can we do also from the waste that we have in our production. So that doesn't mean only wood, but also aluminium, glass, and everything that we have. So we are trying to get, let's say, a new composite out of it that we could use while installing our windows. And we are really deep into investigating what recovered wood means for us. So what are its benefits and its cons? How good material this is, what are their possibilities to use and how to treat it. And yes, so we have already mentioned today a project RecAPPture This was by the size a small project, but by the meaning quite powerful for us. It was the first way how to really get a feedback from the field, how many recovered wood from old construction there is. Here in the region where we are now, so in Slovenia region, west north, let's say, region, we can see while just driving around a lot of torn down buildings, a lot of piles of wood being near buildings, and the owners really don't know what to do with them. Rarely it is used for something else. Usually it is sawn down and just used for energy. So our aim with the RecAPPture was to make an app that would really ease up the owners of this recovered wood, that they would put an advertise to advertise what pile of wood they have, what is, let's say, approximately amount, how many cubic meters, what is the state of this wood, and they would give this information to us or to any other, let's say, possible producer that might use it. There is, as I said, a lot of this wood here around. And when the news went around that we are gathering the recovered wood, there was a lot of feedback. A lot of people called us and still are calling us that they would like to sell this wood to us. So the RecAPPture app was really the one that pushed us and that made spread the word that we are really dealing with recovered wood. We are really living what we are teaching. As we say, we have tried to really import the recovered wood in all different aspects of our life. And in one way, we have improved our business offices. As you can see, we brought the traditional hay rack style walls into our offices, into our phone corners, just to bring this domestic feeling and also to bring snow to the places that usually don't have it. What we also are doing last year, we have done it for the first time. From the sawdust, we have produced paper that we are now using to put invoices for our customers on, and also an idea for the cups, for the wooden cups, came from one of our employees, and he actually made them himself. So each of our employees got one of the wooden cups, and we have no longer any PVC cups for the coffee machines. So let's say 30,000 PVC cups less are used for that matter. Just a month ago, we have made an M SORA competition, an internal M SORA competition, where we try to get ideas from our employees to make one table, and also to reorganize the system for waste management treatment. There is a new regulation coming into force to really divide waste in production even more, and that's why we organize this internal competition. We are really trying to get the most out of wood, from the recovered wood or from the new one. So we are trying to make a loop and really to circularize wood in every aspect and as many times as possible. We know that the recovered wood is not optimal. We are more willingly using fresh wood, it's easier. It's right now less costly because everything can be done smoother. Yes, there are cracks. There is a visual difference in old recovered wood. There are a lot of metal in wood, a lot of nails. As much as we remove them, there is still one that we have missed. And yeah, there are problems using recovered wood, but still there is also a lot of chances still to use it. To avoid, let's say, the visual appearance or the how to treat the recovered wood, in one of our last projects, we have decided to make, let's say, a combination of recovered wood and fresh wood in scantlings. The outside scantling that is mostly on weathering conditions is from new wood, and the inside will be from recovered wood. So this is one way how to, let's say, avoid some problems that recovered wood brings. There are different ways still how to make the sustainability a little further, how to bring it. Not only that we need to use recovered wood, we also need to think how to build up windows that will be easy to reinstall or to disassemble after their life cycle. So this is also something that we are working on a lot. How to make connections, joints that we are now gluing with using towels and glue. How to make it more, let's say, mechanically to be easily disassembled when the life cycle of the window is finished. Also, some liquid materials could be replaced, and this is also something that makes our life easier while disassembling windows at the end of the life cycle. This direction also brings us the lack of some materials on the global market. Silica is one of the material that is going down already for the last decade. And this is also one of the reasons to use alternatives. It's also good to know really what your product is worth ecologically. We are not, we could easily say we are sustainable because we are using wood, but we all know that using wood is only one of the good things that we are doing, but it's also important everything around it. So the processes, the semi-products that we are building in the windows, where do they come from? How much energy they use to be to come to life? So LCA analysis are for sure for us one of the markers that really guide us where we are now and where we could be in the future. We have done last year the comparison of two windows, one using recovered wood and one not. Which one is more beneficial? There was not that much of a difference, but we know why. There were only 2–3% of the difference in the LCA on the global warming potential. But as you can see on the picture, on the middle picture, there is one big sliding wall that we took into consideration while performing the LCA. And by this size, wood is only a small percentage of the materials. And in window, as a general, glass represents 40–60% of all global warming potential. So we must exclude glass and just compare what brings us the difference between recovered and fresh wood, and then focus on the processes and where we can really do something. On the glass itself, we have really right now no effect, no impact. while discovering new ways, we are also discovering new surface treatment, what to use, what is more beneficial, what is more effective, and wood mineralization is just one of it. 10 years ago, it was thermal wood modification and wax treatment, and now we are dealing with our partners in Project Wolf with wood mineralization. It expands the lifespan and improves the fire safety. We have been working also in the field of sensors quite a lot. On the left side, you can see the sensors we have used, let's say 10 years ago, for temperature and wood moisture content, and it was all wired. This is sufficient and we got the great results. But what we wanted to do was a step further to make wireless sensors. This is something not only for research purposes, but also our customers, they want to have sensored windows, usually not to know what the temperature and the humidity of the wood is, but to know whether the window is opened, closed, or semi-closed, or something has moved the window, because this gives them information whether there might be a burglar inside, or they might have disconnected to the automatic closing of the window when the storm comes. So sensor with wireless sensors are really something that we could sell right away if they would be available. So this is something that just we need to finish till the end. But in this project in Wolf, we have been focusing on measuring with the wireless sensors temperature, wood moisture, and deflection. Why are we doing that? We would like to, let's say, predict the lifespan of wood. We'd like to know, to get alert when something happens inside the wood. If the moisture content goes too much high, we know something is not okay, that the surface treatment has been broken, let's say, from hail. This is the most common reason in Slovenia. And when the surface surface treatment is cracked, the water, the rain goes inside and rarely can go outside. So then the moisture goes up, and then the degradation of the wood starts. If we would get an alert right away, we could just fix the surface treatment once again, and the wood would stay in its origin value for the next few decades. So prediction of the lifespan is for us something also very important. As I mentioned, also the wood deformation data we would like to measure, or we are already measuring with the sensors. Why is this important? As you can see, windows are not small anymore. They come from the bottom to the top ceiling. Sometimes they go over 2 floors, and the wind and the pressure of the wind on the windows is really, really high. And it really bends wood and glass inside. So we need to know whether all the predicted deflections are correct, whether there is a threat of something to happen, if the glass will break, or if the wood will resist this deformation and these loads. So the deformation sensors are more for for us to really know what happens with the windows as for the customer itself. Why do we do everything that I have talked about? We are really connecting tradition with innovation. We are over 70 years old company. And yes, innovation is our drive. We like to combine this. We have a huge knowledge, not only in the research field, but also in the production, let's say the old knowledge of the craftsman, which is really, really important because it's the one that really gives us the firm foundation of what is possible to do with wood. And yes, innovative materials, innovative solutions, innovative processes, digitalization, this everything goes well hand in hand with tradition. We have proved that already quite a lot of times. We like to preserve wooden heritage with what we do. We like to bring wooden heritage in its origin form to the new life, or we like to just transform it into something really new. And we like to talk about this. We like to advertise or to spread around the world what everything is possible, because I think still the awareness is not as high as we would like it to be. We would like more and more customers would be open for new windows from recovered wood, from new doors from recovered wood, and that this would really also push the producers to think even more in this direction. That would be all from my side. So now we are open for questions, I think.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Maybe when should we see the video?
Maybe we can see the video
Now, before questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So
The debate.
we got an honor from Rosewood 4.0 to make a video that would show you and us really how much digitalization can improve, let's say, an old-fashioned wooden window production that is most of the time in the head of someone when we talk about window production. But the truth is really different. Window productions now are really, really digitalized already. And yes, of course, there could be even more. There are further steps to do. But let's see where we are now in this movie.
You look out of windows all the time, but have you ever really looked at the window itself? Have you ever thought that all its details are carefully designed for a particular purpose? That the construction of the window in front of you is the result of a coordinated effort of engineers, designers, craftsmen, and research institutions? That without craftsmen there would be no transfer of knowledge from the scientific to the practical world? And that this can be even more efficient if traditional processes are supported by digitalization? We do all of this in order to satisfy the wishes of those who look out of our windows. It all starts by choosing the wood. We can make windows from new wood or from reclaimed wood and give it a chance to come to life again. We know how to use both, but we want to use as much reclaimed wood as possible. How much largely depends on the customer desires. We look at reclaimed wood differently than most. We see future products with high added value. Wood, the local raw material that is plentiful in our environment, is our favorite. A professional approach to the customer, quality measurement, and field installation are the keys to a satisfying customer experience with the company. The immediate transfer of information to the customer and between individual company departments is necessary to conduct our business efficiently and to deliver a quality end product. We carefully design every single window. Using our engineering knowledge, we check the functionality of every detail. All this means that your living experience with M SORA windows, even in the strongest of storms, will be peaceful. We want our customers to be satisfied with the product. That's why we allow our customers to preview the installed windows even before our craftsmen make them. With virtual 3D glasses, you can walk around the apartment and see the view through the windows before the house is even built. Each window component is equipped with tracking codes from the very beginning of the production process. This enables precise monitoring and quality control of the components. State-of-the-art equipment and digitization of processes ensure that we can always accommodate special customer demands. The digitization of steps in production allows the customer to monitor all of the phases of the window production process, from ordering to installation, from the comfort of their home. Our care for our windows does not end with quality installation. We can predict or prolong the lifespan of our windows by monitoring humidity and temperature. With discreetly installed sensors, we can monitor the quality of wood throughout the entire life cycle of a window. And in the event of unfavorable changes, we can intervene and prevent damage before it occurs. Quality installation is the hallmark of our work. We handle windows carefully and conscientiously. We also want our built-in windows to be durable and to adorn and enrich homes for decades. Concern for quality and installation according to the latest construction guidelines is an important foundation of our company. With the help of modern technologies, we are able to train teams that offer professional installation. Behind the view through the window hides a combination of unique knowledge and countless diligent hands. With innovative approaches, digitized processes, and respect for tradition, we tackle all the challenges that come our way. And in doing so, we carefully and responsibly take care of our favorite raw material, wood, and with it, the environment that provides it.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara, very much for this nice presentation of the company and different projects dealing with digitalization. But maybe before we start the discussion, I have only one small question regarding RecAPPture project, which actually was selected for this presentation. I know that it is finished already, and my question is whether are you thinking something similar to start in the future, or what it is? Any new ideas in this area, or how it is?
Yeah, the follow-up of the RecAPPture app, let's say production, is the logistic optimization of the app, because we have seen that it's not cost effective to gather recovered wood from all around Slovenia or even broader. So we would need to have, let's say, all different producers that would like to have the recovered wood, and on the other side, locals or private people that have the recovered wood. And then this should be logistically optimized, from which owner it's most cost effective for you to get. So this optimization is for sure the one that should be done following. After the spread of information of the RecAPPture, we have really seen that there is a lot of interest in the local community, also in the people that would like to sell their wood, and they are not. Their awareness is there that something more could be done out of it, just instead of burning it. They just don't know what to do with it. So if you give them an opportunity to put it on the market, they will do it. But there is another aspect. When you give them the opportunity, everyone thinks that they have something really with a high price. So they also expect quite a lot of money, sometimes even more as for the fresh wood, which is not the case, because there is only, let's say, 50% of what we get we really can use, and we have a lot of more costs to prepare it, even to the steps that we can use it. So sometimes they would rather burn it than to give it to you for a smaller price. So this is another aspect to tackle. But I think this is more of raising the awareness of the communities.
Did they want to use it for themselves, you know, to have the window out of, I don't know.
I think we've had only one customer from Austria that he delivered his own wood to us. But he had it from his own old house. He tore it down and brought it to us. That was one time I remember. We didn't bought it from him. He just brought it to us. Yes.
I would expect more people, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just to remember, I don't know, grandparents or something like that.
Yes.
Kind of windows. I just would like to say that the company really promotes the use of wood. Also, it is actually the company is important for economic development of this local community of Žiri. And you also collaborate with local school, secondary school in Škofja Loka. Yes. So it goes also in the direction of education, which is also part of this Rosewood project. And yeah, M SORA, I also read on the internet that you support like these local sport clubs and donators, so on. So it's really important for this area, because a lot of people are employed in the company.
Yeah.
Just to start to open the questions, so maybe it's now time to start the discussion. If also other colleagues have any questions or comments on or something. Maybe we can see some hands. Two participants raise their hands. Yeah. Yanis.
Or maybe Professor Dallos can start.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Yanis. We're both from Greece, so okay, it's the same. I'm George Dallos, and I'm representing Klube, West Macedonia cluster here, with Yanis and the rest of our colleagues. First of all, Barbara, you managed to impress us with all these things, wood and glass recovery, wood impregnation with new materials, wood sensors in the windows and things like that, which is very impressive, really. But I want to ask you something, and to be honest, you already answered the bigger part of this question, which is finally the price of recovered wood. If you compare it with fresh wood, is it? Right now
it is low, but because the fresh wood is the price for the fresh wood went up for 100%. If you're talking about spruce, I think the real price would be from 30 to 50 euros per cubic meters for recovered wood, and it's 50 to 70 euros per cubic. I'm sorry, not 70, but 500 to 700 for scantlings that we are buying. And it's around 50 to 80 euros per cubic meters for recovered wood. The prices for spruce, as I said, went up from 2 years ago for 100%, and they are still rising. So right now, the difference is much, much bigger than it used to be.
Yeah, and it seems that the prices are still going on till 2023. So I believe that the recovered wood will gain more, a bigger part of the market. So it's good for you. Another question is about the sensors that you managed to put in the windows. What about the energy that these sensors need? You have to change battery every time, you have to cable it, or because we use the same, let's say, idea, but with RFID. So you take the information that you want by sending energy to them and recover any data that you want. How you deal with it?
The sensors, yeah, that was one of the main questions, how to design the sensors that would not need to replace the batteries, I don't know, every month or something, because that is not something the customer would do. So the sensors were designed and produced by our partner LTIC, Slovenian company. And right now, the small battery AAA is sufficient, let's say, for 1 to 2 years. So that is something reasonable also for our customers to deal with.
Perfect. Thank you.
So now maybe I can go. It's not only from myself actually, but it's also from Periklis Kafasis from the Adima, the waste management company, because he sent a message before. He's not able to connect video audio, so he just texted me a message, and it was about it's related to the previous question, and whether concerning the value chain, whether there is an obligation, let's say, from the household owners to get rid in a manageable way of their waste wood. So if they have to pay to you or to some other waste management, I don't know, organization, facility, to get rid of that, are they obliged to, first of all? And then if yes, do they have to pay a fee, or can you elaborate a bit on that?
According to my knowledge, for private households, for private buildings, they are not obliged to say what they are doing with the materials they have torn down when the building was demolished. So I don't think they are paying anything to anyone. This is also this would be a way for them or for us more to get more of recovered wood and yeah, to really get it going. But right now there is no such policy that would make in this direction.
Okay, thank you. And a question also from Nikos Damatis from the Hellenic Association of Biomass. He was asking about about the ingredients in like chemical substances, glue and everything in the recovered wood, and whether that causes a problem either for the new bio-based products or maybe potentially for bioenergy. Do you have any input on that?
We have made an investigation of the chemicals and how much deep they go into the, let's say, surface with windows that were old 40, 50, 70 years, let's say, and we brought them back. I don't know exactly which chemicals were discovered, but we discovered that if we remove 4 to 5 millimeters of the surfaces, we are already in the raw wood that has no chemicals inside, no additionally transport chemicals. So this is what we can use then as, let's say, as a fresh wood. For mechanical properties, also with window profiles that we have investigated, the stability, the elastic module is just a slightly smaller, let's say, than by fresh wood, but not really much. In larger samples from, let's say, beams from hay racks or old buildings, there is a problem with the cracks that are quite deep, 2-3 centimeters even, and this is then that deep. You have to then cut it away, and there is then a small surface that really gets out of quite a large beam. Yeah, the most problems we have by larger beams or demolished wood from demolished buildings are nails that are quite hard to remove. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and there is no 100% certain method to really discover all of them. And if you don't discover it, then yeah, your soul pays it.
Yeah, probably some instrument with metal detection, or I don't know, high beams or whatever. But anyway, very, very interesting. Thank you very much. It's a pity we're not there, but we promise to come in the future, maybe with Rosewood 5. Let's see.
We have also more questions, Bruna. Maybe
Jovica Volkanovski, please.
Hello to everyone.
Hello.
It's a good presentation from your side. From the past question, most of my question is answered, but I'm interested how many of the costs for making one windows is up using of recovery and from the new one wood, because we know the old wood, we have a screw, something, the process of making is more taking of time, etc. How many the cost is up from the making of the new one?
Yeah, it's 15% higher than making it from the fresh wood. Yeah, this is okay if someone is prepared to pay for it. But it's in the mentality of the people that if you are using recovered wood, there was some work already done, and it should be cheaper. But it's not the way. It takes a lot of more processes to even come to the raw material that it's easier to get from the fresh wood. And also the European calls that are opening in the sense of circularity or making new products out of recovered wood or out of any material that was already used. There is, let's say, a strict rule that if you're producing it, it shouldn't cost more. So you should produce it in a way that it shouldn't cost more. So we still have this gap to really optimize processes or get more materials or better materials as a resource from recovered wood, that really there would be no difference in choosing whether new or recovered, or even better if the recovered windows from recovered wood would be cheaper, then that would really stimulate also. But yes, we had the same, let's say, problem when people were deciding between PVC window or wooden windows. Wooden windows with all this hand work or manual work are still more expensive than PVC windows. And Slovenian government stimulated the use of wooden windows by putting subsidies to the people who are choosing wooden windows. So this subsidies just covered the difference in this gap, and maybe this could be also some solution for promoting the use of recovered wood.
Okay, so So we can go on with the question, Mr. Karlopoulos.
Hello, I'm Evangelos Karlopoulos. I'm a member also of the Greek team. I want to ask, is there another competitive market for this amount of waste wood?
What do you
If
mean?
you don't, another competitive, an alternative market, have you any, that means if you don't use this wood for your window, what were going to happen with this amount of waste wood? There are a competitive market for the use of this amount of waste wood.
Let me say, there are some companies, usually smaller than we are, that are already also trying to find solutions to produce something new out of the recovered wood. Let's say these are tables, old chairs, or some furniture for the inside, or floorings. But there is a small amount of it. If we are looking at how much recovered wood there is only in Slovenian market, I don't think there is a 10% of it that is reused. And it's probably even less. So already we are playing a very small part of using it, and there is not a bigger producer that is doing that.
And something else, we have calculated
company which collect recovered wood and sold it, selling it to Austria.
Yeah, and there are smaller also producers there that are producing furniture, or I don't know, flooring or something. Yeah.
We have calculated that in Greece, each person has per year 70 kilos of waste wood. Have you an idea what is the figure in Slovenia? How much have you calculated this? How many waste wood each Slovenian release per year?
Yes, in the project ReWin, we have focused on construction waste wood, for example, beams, and we analyzed that I think 0.2% of all building font will be demolished every year until 2050. And this means that we get approximately 1,700 cubic meters of old wooden beams per year. This is just old wooden beams gathered from demolished buildings. This is the number that we got. We don't know the amount of all other waste wood in Slovenia.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Also, I have one question for the old wood. Do you testing what is used in the past to protect of the wood? Because in the past for the protecting is use oil, and now not is in the blacklist of the European Union that not use it anymore. Do you test the quality? What do with the wood that is not good for the production of the line of making of windows and etc.?
We have tested it, as I have said. We are not testing it on site, so that means that each wood that we get, we don't test. So we cannot prove for each of it what does it have or what doesn't it have. But we have made a research previously to gather more of wooden old windows and to see what and how far does it come, the surface treatment that was used 70 years ago, let's say, how deep does it come? And that was than the knowledge we got. So when we remove 4 to 5 millimeters of the surface, let's say we are on the safe side. But yes, there were also some, I don't remember which was the chemical, but yeah, there was some chemical discovered that is on a ban list now.
Okay. Mr. Karlopoulos, do you have another question, or because you have?
Oh, sorry, I don't have. I have to.
Okay. Is there any other question? Maybe in the chat?
Daniela Bartolovic.
Yeah, hi. Barbara, the story about M SORA is amazing every time we hear it. So congratulations, you are doing really, really great job. Could you please just quickly remind us about the RecAPPture application? How is it envisaged to function? We understand the problem regarding the costs and these follow-up activities, which will be related to logistic reorganization. But how did you envisage for application to function in the real life?
Yeah, and the application was actually made only for us at the time. So we just wanted to gather information who is out there that could sell us recovered wood and that he doesn't need it. He needs a RecAPPture application. He then follows 3 steps. He goes out and see the pile of beams, let's say, makes a photo. Then he has to choose which type of wood he thinks it is. He gets 3 or 4 different pictures and he just chooses by comparing it. And then he estimates the cubic meters of how much he thinks it is, whether he measures it or he just estimates it. He takes few pictures and he takes in his data, and that's it. And his contact numbers and the location. And this is then sent to us, and we are gathering that in that database. Quickly, we have realized that there is much more wood out there than we would need. We have also hoped that the demand for the recovered windows would really go high, more than it has, so that also our need for recovered wood would be higher than it is. But then we thought of continuing this RecAPPture project by not just gathering information for us, but actually for anyone that could use recovered wood. So let's say on the one side, we are gathering the possible users of recovered wood, and on the other side, possible givers of recovered wood. And then it would combine together so that it would work in both directions, let's say.
Thank you very much.
If I may say, on this that Daniela raised, we have exactly the same application developed by CERT, actually. Vangelis Karlopoulos, who discussed before, they have developed it for us through a project, not for recovered wood, but for any type of biomass. Of course, there the idea is mainly for bioenergy, but I think it's exactly the same concept. Picture, photo, data, even price, I think we have on it. But then the idea is that they connect between them, so we don't interfere with that afterward. It's not a marketplace, it's just a connecting point. But it's interesting to see how these applications are developing around the countries, more or less the same principle, but maybe focused a little bit on different practices.
Yeah. Any other question or comment? Maybe from here. Peter?
I can ask one question or give a remark. Last week, you were also attending an event which was organized in Ljubljana. The title was the Development Day of wood sector, and they discussed about the transition from the double transition. So this is meaning that a green and digital transition. And they presented at this round table or during the discussion table graph which was presenting the 5 stages of digitalization in companies. The first step, as they said, is establishing the connection. Let's say the third step is the transparency. The fourth step is, for example, the capacity to predict something. And the last step is to ensure, let's say, adaptability to some autonomous systems. So I can see, based on your presentation and based on the movies, that you are quite high in this scale. What would you think is this? Are your company at which scale of digitalization? Because you are already quite transparent with your customers. As you can see, you are also trying to build this sensor for a product which can ensure you some adaptability. So I would say you are at the 4th or even at the 5th stage. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think we have some steps still to do. Mostly, let's say, in production. We have quite a lot of phases that are still manual, not because we don't know how to do it differently, but because we have tried to do it differently, but we have so high demands for the surface coating quality that we have realized that right now only handily we can get it. So in one way we are talking about robotization and automatization, but in reality we are getting more better results from the people that know what they're doing. So this is one way. The second thing is, we know we have some steps that we could actually robotize, but we also know that this would cost 2 to 3 million euros, which is a lot for a company of our size. So we would like to go there. And there is another thing we still don't have. Everything is digitalized in production, but we don't have already this learning process, automated learning process that would really give us knowledge about the processes itself. So this is something that we need to work on, and we are working on in the next year or two, to really learn about yourself through the processes, not only just by walking around the production, but actually by data analysis. So I don't think we are at 5, maybe at 4, yes, in some ways, but in some ways still we are quite sure we have still a lot of work to do.
I just have one question about this pandemic, which of course it is. How did it affect your work? I mean, some people were able to work from home. What about the production and so on? Because not everyone can work from home.
Now, production was actually closed for only a week. During the whole time. So production worked practically normally, with the exception of the one that were ill or isolated. But actually we really had not that much of people being ill or lack of personnel. So the majority of others worked home, the one that could. But the production stayed, on the site. The pandemic is really making a strange turn in the construction sector. On one way is bringing prices up to the level that never were so high before. Of the materials, yes. But on the other hand, we were never full till the end of the year, as we are now.
just because you said that before, and I know that some people say that because people they have money, they are not able to travel, and now they are investing more money to rebuild something and so on. Just I wanted to ask if you feel it like this.
Yeah, but right now we are not in a good position because we have now contracts signed up till the end of the year, but we don't know where the materials will be at the end of the year. So all of the profit will go only to this difference of the materials. So right now we would actually rather stop getting new orders because we have no idea what will happen with the materials. And if you put a contract now with the prices today, you cannot change it later on. So it's really, we have never been so full, but we are not happy that we're full. So it's a strange situation. Yes.
But here also like digitalization, or not only digitalization in terms of tools, but also competences were important, I guess, because there are not so many meetings, all these online tools and so on. They can make some meetings more, you can have meetings online and so on. But of course, you have to have competences to use this kind of tools.
Yes.
Okay, are there any more comments from here? No? Okay, if not, then I would like to thank Barbara and the whole company, M SORA, for their willingness to participate in the project. Also in the past, you attend many our workshops, which we are very grateful. And I really hope that there will be chance in the future to make some kind of project which will be more towards that it will involve also companies, so to make some maybe good results out of it. So Daniela, if you have any other comments, otherwise from our side, that's it, right?
No, just from our side, we wish to thank to M SORA, to you, Slovenian Forestry Institute, and to all partners from Greece and experts from Greece, Slovenia, and Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, and the rest of countries. So thank you very much for participating, and hope to see you next time.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice holiday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.